Now, it looks as though they want you to show proof that you've been vaccinated if you want to go to a nightclub, if you want to go to a football match, if you want to go possibly even into a restaurant, you're going to have to show some proof that you have been vaccinated. Are vaccine passports actually a good idea? Will they keep the country safe? Or are they a gross intrusion on our privacy?
Oh, I'm going to get that. Oh, it's going to curtail my freedom. Don't be so stupid.
Even with the vaccine, you can still catch and carry the virus. Amazing. I approve.
He's gone. He's off. This is Talk Radio TV's Political Punch-Up. Welcome to the Political Punch-Up. This is, of course, Talk Radio TV, and I am Mike Graham. Today, I'm going to introduce you to two heavyweights, not necessarily in size, but certainly in brain power. Mr. James Whale, Talk Radio legend, who is joining us today from his eyrie somewhere in the southeast of England, and Mahyar Tousi, political broadcaster, a man who's been in plenty of altercations over time. The subject today is vaccine passports. Should we have them or should we not? Now, I'm going to be taking the rather unusual line of I'm not telling you what I think until the end. I'm going to ask James Whale, first of all, to make his case and be as concise as you wish, James, because I don't want you to go on for banging on about it for too long like you do on your show. I want you to tell me why you think vaccine passports are a good idea.
Okay. I didn't realise that we were doing this. No briefing, so this is straight off the top of my head. Could you keep your head still while I'm talking to you? So you've got this habit of doing this all the time, and it's making me feel a little
it's called
sick.
Nodding, James. I'm agreeing with you.
Don't nod. You're supposed to be impartial. Okay. Listen, I don't want to go to football matches, so I couldn't really care less. And if I want to go somewhere, I'll get the passport. I have no problem with it at all. Why is everybody saying, oh, I'm going to get that? Oh, it's going to curtail my freedom. Don't be so stupid. We have more freedom in this great nation of ours than anybody else on the planet. And if you can find somewhere where you get more freedom, you should jolly well go and live there. So, yeah, have the vaccine passport. If I'm going to a nightclub, of course, as you know, I frequent a lot of parties, a lot of nightclubs.
That. Even now, even at the great age that you've reached, you're still going out a lot, aren't you?
Well, I'm younger than you. I mean, let's not be too rude about this.
Everyone's younger than me.
So I actually think you'd be silly. If we can get a passport, if I can prove I've had everything that I should have, which I have, it'll make getting on a plane, going abroad, having a holiday, going to a nightclub, going to a rave, anything like that, much easier. So I don't have a problem. And I really don't know what all these ridiculously stupid anti-vaxxers, anti-passport people are going on about.
Well, why don't you let them speak, and then maybe you'll find out what they're going on about. Mahyar, would you please answer this man? He says you're a crazed anti-vaxxer.
I'm not anti-vaxxer. Firstly, okay, clearly, with someone like James, I'm not going to use the liberty angle. I'm not going to use the liberty angle, James, so that's not going to convince you. I'm going to use logic and common sense. So firstly, if it were a situation where a virus would actually be so harmful and dangerous and only the vaccine could completely stop any infection, then I'll be like, okay, I can compromise. That even with the vaccine, you can still catch and carry the virus. The vaccine, at best, what it does is it reduces the severity of the illness. For some people, obviously, it's still a minority, but it still does. We get that. But in reality, the problem I have is that it's not logical anyway. So even in a nightclub, people with vaccine passports could still take the virus in, could still give it to other people. So if you've already taken the vaccine, you're already protected anyway, so the severity is going to be fine. So even if you catch it from an unvaccinated person, it doesn't really matter. So, people should stop just screaming at each other about this. But also, my last main issue is that it just creates a bad precedent that governments and politicians will continue to introduce illogical proposals and policies that it's just going to get crazy and crazy, like how we're raising taxes on everybody, elderly and children and young people, and the whole thing is just completely crazy.
Yeah, exactly right. James, he's got a point, hasn't he? It's not about whether or not you're crazed or mad, or it's all about your personal freedom. It's all about logic. And also, nobody has yet explained how it's going to work. If you want to go to a nightclub that's got 500 people in it, how slow do you reckon it's going to be to get in if you have to sign in with some kind of piece of QR code?
Oh. Don't you get invited round the back door in the VIP entrance like I do?
Well, I'm not talking about me, James. No, I never have to worry about anything like that, of course.
Well,
but, I mean, I'm talking about the vast majority of the public, the paying public as well, by the way.
If you are now both of you ganging up, I'm
not
going
even
to tell
talking.
You see, this is typical of you. You think I'm ganging up on you because I'm asking you a question which has come from a neutral perspective.
Absolute relics. I am going to tell you logically. Now, the medical people, the scientists think it's a good idea.
Well, they don't agree, though, do they?
They don't.
You say you're interrupting again. You accuse me of...
I'm allowed to interrupt. I'm the bleeding referee.
Look, I don't really much care, to be quite honest with you. I never wore a mask, okay? I have underlying health issues, which I won't talk about. And I want to get on with my... Thank you. I want to get on with my life as quickly as I can.
Yes.
The government who are voted in and voted out, and in a couple of years you can vote them out, want us to have the vaccine passport. I don't have enough time to get really worked up about it, all these people. Oh, it's my freedom. Absolute rubbish. You've got more freedoms, as I said before. It's probably going to do you a lot of good having the vaccine. I know you've had yours. I've had mine. I'm looking for a third one.
You want a third one?
If you get...
You don't know that I've had mine, by the way, because I've never told anybody whether I've had them or not. So that's a lie.
Oh, sorry. Did I let that slip? I didn't know you told me that in confidence.
No,
so
I didn't tell you anything in confidence. You can see the last time Jeremy Kyle asked me that question, I told him I don't tell anyone. I've never told anyone.
Yeah, but you're telling porkies, aren't you?
Not at all. Anyway, get on with it. This is not about me. This is about vaccine passports.
Let's stop talking from there, and I will.
Hurry up.
You know, for goodness sake, go away. I'm sorry. Go away. I'm busy
There's more
at the moment.
fans at the door.
Honest.
I'll tell you what, Mahyar, why don't you come back while we're waiting for James to get rid of his dogs?
We're waiting for James to come up with a new argument apart from civil liberties. The other problem is one of the main issues that government is trying to push this is to encourage the rest of the population to take the vaccine. Literally, almost everybody's got it. It's a small percentage who haven't got it anyway. In terms of the logic of it, whether vaccines are good or bad is a different topic anyway. But in terms of anyone who needed to be encouraged has already been encouraged. Even if you give them freebies, free chocolates, free McDonald's, the young people and all that, there are some that, they'll be lazy, taking ages to do it, but if they're going to do it, they're going to do it anyway. You're not going to, logically speaking, convince any other big group of people to take the vaccine just because of the vaccine passport. In fact, you're going to alienate them even more. Some people were just generally skeptical. You accidentally turn them into complete anti-vaxxers. So you're not really helping society by kind of bringing anybody together. So the whole thing is just nonsensical. The majority are vaccinated. The majority are protected. Severity of the virus is down. So just get on with it. Even if someone
he's saying, James, you don't need them. So tell us why we need them. We don't need them, do we?
Yeah. Why do we need them?
I can't be bothered to talk to a couple of bozos like you if you're going to go on in this way. Now, either you shut up and I tell you, or I've got other things to do.
All right, well, hurry up and get on with it. We've only got a few minutes.
Oh, golly, we can have as long as I want. I have come on here for no fee to put you straight. While I'm having this petition to get me taken off the radio that's only got 200 people
carry on like this.
And I'm very upset about it. Now, shush, I want to get serious.
Come on, let's hear it.
Right. The government of the day, which we voted in, if we were sensible, otherwise we'd have Jeremy Corbyn here, want us to do this. Now, they think it is going to be better for us. A lot of people think that there is some underlying thing that's going on, and getting us all vaccinated is going to put us under the control of the politicians, to give us a passport to prove we've had the vaccine, to go to certain places, which I think is a good idea, because why would we want to mix with the unvaccinated? It's like mixing with the unwashed. So it's a good idea. If you don't like it, both of you, don't say a word. I can see it coming out of your mouth, shush. If you don't like it, wait for the election, and then you can vote them all out. It's simple.
I find it extraordinary, though, that your reasoning for wanting this to happen is that the government wants it, and the government knows best, and the government is therefore going to be the best person to ask about what we should be doing with our lives. What about if they start banning people over 70 from going into supermarkets? You'll be stuffed then.
how that's going to happen. Why'd you come up with the most stupid retorts like that? Why don't you try and be intelligent when you have something?
Because that's for Mahyar. I'll leave that to Mahyar. Come on, Mahyar. Can you not argue with this man for me?
James is saying you're that stupid, but your argument, you're basically putting everyone in the same box. That everyone is a conspiracy theorist. Everyone's saying that we got some microchips coming. The majority of people who are anti-vaccine passports. Some of them are actually taking the vaccine anyway. A majority have taken the vaccine themselves, but they're still against the passport, and they're not really believing that Bill Gates is now telling you into your head like Siri or anything like that. They just don't like the illogical parts of the policy. It's also a waste of money. Any of these sort of things that the government introduced, like test and trace, like the apps and stuff, every single measure they do, every email they send, every document they print, it costs us a lot of money. It's just a waste of taxpayers' money anyway. It's a waste of bureaucally. Look, and you create a bad precedent. Don't listen to the nanny.
You know about my nanny. I actually agree with you. To be honest, I don't care about the passport.
People agree with each other. It's supposed to be a fight. This.
I don't really give a stuff about the passport one way or the other. I think actually, if you're going to introduce it, you should have introduced it a while back. It's a waste of time, waste of money. But I think people need to be vaccinated, and I think there are lots of people who are actually being pretty stupid to themselves and their family and everybody else. Talk to your doctors. Ask your doctors what they think. And of course, then if they say, yeah, it's a good idea and you don't agree, you get all arsy about that as well. I would actually think if you get, I'm all in favour, by the way, of having a chip in the wrist. I don't know about you. I'd have a chip in the wrist.
It could match the one that's on your shoulder, couldn't it?
I don't have a chip. I really don't care.
Well, so far you've said, right, that you agree with vaccine passports because the government told you. You now want to get everybody vaccinated because you think you know best. What about personal choice? What about freedom?
And he's agreed with me, so he's already lost the debate. So
yeah, and you've agreed with Mahyar. So I mean, the games are nearly over.
But you're twisting my words. You're twisting my words.
No.
I don't agree with what the government's doing. And if you bother to actually listen to a decent radio show on Talk Radio TV, 10 o'clock at night,
I do.
You would
frequently
know that I should be more critical of the politicians that are running this country at the moment than anything else.
Well, why do you say the government knows best then?
We are where we are. And, if you want to go on holiday, as I know you do, spend a lot of time sitting in the sun, getting your...
I haven't been on holiday for 2 years.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's because you've been boring. Anyway, but the fact is that if the government and other governments as well in other countries, look what they're doing in America at the moment. That's really funny. Are suggesting this is what they want. So if this is what they want, and you think it's a conspiracy theory, you might think it's a waste of time. I think it's a waste of time. I think it's a waste of money. Yeah. But the government's going to bring it in. I think it's a waste of time for people to get so upset about that, when the real issues of the day is why we allowed the Americans to bring us out of Afghanistan and to put all those people in jeopardy
that's
there.
Not what we're talking about. When we're talking about Afghanistan, we'll give you a shout. But today we're not talking about that. Today we're talking about vaccine passports. And quite frankly, even the government didn't want them 3-4 months ago. So when you were making the case 3 or 4 months ago, presumably you would have said, oh no, the government doesn't want them, so we don't need them.
Exactly. What the nanny says. That's the problem.
Anyway, it doesn't make sense.
But James's main argument is that we need to basically encourage people to take the vaccine. He's just more concerned about that. That's not how you do it. Using vaccine passports is not going to convince people to take the vaccine. And yeah, as you said, maybe get them to talk to their doctors, talk to their neighbours, talk to someone else.
Well, how about they don't want to take it? If they don't want to take it, what difference does it make to anybody else? Nobody's going to get sick who's been vaccinated, so why bother?
Hang on, the both of you. I thought I was coming on to do a debate. I didn't realise I was coming on to be baited by a couple of lame radio broadcasters like you two. I thought we were coming on here to have a sensible debate. Now I'm just trying
to keep you on the straight and narrow, James.
You don't have to, because this is what Ash and I think, right?
You speak for him now as well, do you?
Of course, I'm his puppet master. I do.
Yeah, well, somebody has to be.
I think. A caller the other day said maybe it's time to lock up the anti-vaxxers. That's what they're considering in America, apparently, in some states.
They won't be doing that in America because they can't. It's the land of the free and the home of the brave.
My foot. It's the land of the challenge I better not say
You
that.
better not say that.
that
You can't get yourself banned from the show. You've only been on it once. Now, listen, we're going to hear the sound of a bell now, and that's when I'm going to make my verdict aware to both of you. Let's hear it.
This is ridiculous. You've been talking against the whole time.
Why is it ridiculous? Why is it ridiculous? This is the way it works, right? I get to decide which one of you made the best argument. Now, on your behalf, James, let me say what your high points were. Your high points were that you thought that we should get the vaccine passports because you believe the government is doing the right thing for us, right? And secondly, you said that it's much more safe for the rest of us if vaccine passports are brought in. However, you also said that you agreed with Mahyar Tousi, who doesn't want to bring them in, and you also said that it was all a waste of time and all a waste of money, and it should have been done sooner. So, on balance, I think I have to say that I would favour the case that Mahyar Tousi made today, because you were a complete and utter logical fallacy. You didn't stick to the point. You were all over the place, and I think you need to go for a lie down.
Amazing. I approve.
He's gone.
Has he left?
He's off. That's the end. That was, of course, a political punch-up. Round one, and the entire fight is won by Mahyar Tousi. We'll see you next time. Well, that was great, wasn't it? I really enjoyed that. If you did, there's lots more like it. Have a look over here.